WrestleMania 42 is the next premium live event, so here is the entire match card predictions. In the words of Mr. Lemon and Pepper Steppers, let's talk about it. Alright, so I'm going to be predicting 14 matches. They usually end up doing 12 to 14, but they pushed the start back time for WrestleMania 42. And this is their first WrestleMania on ESPN, so I'm going to assume they're going to do 7 matches each night. So we have a few matches that are already confirmed at time of recording this, which is your 4 world title matches. So you've got Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World Championship. You've got Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. You've got Roman Reigns versus CM Punk for the Men's World Heavyweight Championship. And then you have Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton for the Men's WWE Championship. Now, I am going to put a disclaimer. I am recording this prior to Friday Night SmackDown, where Drew McIntyre is defending the WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes. So, if Cody Rhodes is your WWE champion when this comes out, then you're going to have to tune into the podcast to hear how that affects all of these matches. But without further ado, let's dive into our first match. All right, so the first match I feel pretty confident about that is going to happen, and it is one that I'm very excited to happen. That is going to be the original El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano in a mask versus mask match. So this is one of the more entertaining feuds and storylines that's going on currently in WWE, and I think it obviously will culminate at WrestleMania 42, although it is interesting because they have like a huge storyline going on in AAA also, but the roles are reversed. So original El Grande Americano is the heel in AAA, but then in WWE, he is the babyface. So I don't know how that's going to affect what they do with this storyline, especially now that The Undertaker is somehow writing creative for AAA. So I could see them not doing a mask versus mask match just because if they want to wait to have that reveal to get more action in AAA. But either way, this match is going down at WrestleMania, and I think it should be a mask versus mask match because you've just got so many talented guys in this feud, and you've got Ludwig, you've got Pete Dunne, you've got Tyler Bate. Obviously, those 3 alone in their own faction would be awesome. So I kind of hope it is just a mask versus mask match, and then Ludwig, Tyler Bate, and Pete Dunne can kind of just go back to their old characters and then just run a faction. So we've recently got new women's tag team champions in Nia Jax and Lash Legend. This happened the Friday Night SmackDown before the Elimination Chamber, and I think that was on purpose, A, to free up Rhea Ripley for her match against Jade Cargill, and B, to set up the women's tag team match at WrestleMania, where Nia and Lash will be defending their titles against the Bella Twins. Yes, the Bella Twins are back in WWE, I believe from the Royal Rumble, and they maybe had 1 or 2 appearances on WWE television together, and then they just haven't really been seen too much. They've been doing some press stuff, but I think they are kind of just waiting to push this feud for WrestleMania. You've got your ultimate baby faces in the Bella Twins against your really nice, young, fresh heel tag team in Nia Jax and Lash Legend. So I was originally thinking that it was going to be Rio versus the Bella Twins, but then you kind of have a babyface versus babyface. But I just think when you have 4 stars like that it wouldn't really matter. But then them pivoting to Nia and Lash makes more sense because you give the Bella Twins a better chance of getting cheered in this match. So I feel pretty confident that Nia and Lash will defend their women's tag team championship against the Bella Twins. So AJ Lee just beat Becky Lynch at the Elimination Chamber for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, which didn't seem to make a ton of sense timing-wise for me, at least, because I thought that Becky should have won dirty. But Becky Lynch should have won, whether that's ref's back is turned, poke to the eyes, feet on the ropes, whatever it is. Becky Lynch should have won, and then AJ should have gotten her moment at WrestleMania, because now I don't know how much sense it's going to make for Becky to go back after the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and more specifically why AJ would give her a rematch. I know it's in the clause, but she made her tap out, like 3 times in the past few months? So it's like, and we already are going to have a number 1 contenders match for the women's IC title, which I don't know. I think this video will be out after that, but I'm going to pick Raquel Rodriguez to win that match, and I think that match will probably just happen on a Monday Night Raw, and maybe Becky Lynch costs Raquel or whoever wins it to make it a triple threat match. But either way, Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee is happening at WrestleMania, because if it doesn't, I don't know what Becky Lynch is going to do. So I really couldn't even begin to come up with something to have Becky Lynch do if it's not AJ Lee, and then she will probably just lose again at WrestleMania. All right, so this is one of the hotter takes that I have for WrestleMania, mostly because I needed to get Gunther on this card, and I think there's a chance that Gunther is the one that answers this open challenge, but then I don't know what Obafemi does. Unless they go over 14 matches, then things will kind of get easier, but 14 is already a lot, 7 for each night, and I don't think they're gonna do more than 14. So I think that both Obafemi and Gunther are going to answer this open challenge, and that kind of gets me excited for this match. If it's a triple threat with Brock, Gunther, and Obafemi, obviously you can have Gunther or Oba win without pinning Brock Lesnar, although I think Brock Lesnar should be the one to eat the pin if this is a triple threat. But I could just see where Obafemi and Gunther both kind of come out to answer the call, and it would make sense for both of their characters. If I don't know what Gunther's going to do at WrestleMania if he doesn't really get involved in this, because I don't think him and Dragon Lee are going to get pushed to WrestleMania. I don't think he's going to retire Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania, because I think Dom is going to be the one to retire Rey, which he should absolutely be the one to retire Rey. So this is kind of what I just decided to land on. I don't feel great about it. I'll say that much. I do not feel great about it, but what are you going to do? This is the match that I think and am officially predicting is going to happen at WrestleMania. Speaking of triple threats, we've got Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu versus Sami Zayn. Now, this match will get affected by what happens on Friday Night SmackDown between Drew and Cody. Obviously, if Cody wins, then you can just skip this match. But I think that, obviously, these 3 men are involved with the WWE Championship and each other, right? They, especially Cody and Jacob, have kind of gotten involved a lot. They had a match that got interrupted by Drew, and then Sami has kind of confronted both of them backstage, and then both of them kind of threw it right back in Sami Zayn's face. And so I think that there's a chance it could be a fatal 5-way at WrestleMania, but I think that it's probably going to end up being this triple threat, and then Drew versus Randy for the WWE Championship. Now, here's where things are going to get a little bumpy, so stick with me. But I've got the Usos defending their World Tag Team Championships against The Vision, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory. Stay tuned for what's going to happen with Seth Rollins, but the Usos are going to wrestle at WrestleMania, and I don't think it's going to be a multi-person ladder match, because I think that's going to be for a different title. And so the Usos have been now involved in the Vision stuff, and that kind of just leaves a giant question mark for what's going to happen with them. They're going to defend their tag titles, but against whom? It's probably going to be the Vision, right? Which leads me to believe that something is going to happen in the next match, so let's get into that one. Yes, I don't like to predict injuries or when people are going to return from injuries, but this match is just kind of what makes sense. Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker, because if the Usos don't wrestle against the Vision, I don't know what they're going to do, and they're going to be on this card unless they kind of do a big multi-person, like 5 or 10-man tag team match, which I don't think is very likely. So that leads me to believe that Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker is going to happen. Listen, if anybody can come back from an injury early, I don't know what the exact timeline is for Braun Breaker. I haven't looked that up, and I'm not going to, just so I can be surprised, but Braun Breaker is a freak specimen, very John Cena-esque in that sense. So if anybody can come back early and be ready for WrestleMania, it's going to be Braun Breaker. And I just don't think they're going to do Seth versus Logan. I don't think they're going to do Seth versus Austin Theory. I don't think they're going to do Seth and LA Knight versus The Vision, even though I don't have LA Knight on this WrestleMania card, which is I feel fine about. So that just leads me to believe that this is going to be the match and that Braun Breaker is going to be good to go for WrestleMania 42. Is that wishful thinking? Most likely, but I'm predicting it nonetheless. So this is the match that I feel like got cleared up following the Elimination Chamber. I thought Randy was either going to face Gunther or he's going to face Trick. Obviously, neither of those are happening. So if he's not facing Trick, then Trick is going to face Carmelo Hayes. Definitely for the United States Championship, and I feel pretty good about that. I was unsure at first to have Trick go after a mid-card title when he's already a star, but if you want to elevate the United States Championship, then you put it on Trick Williams right here, right now, at WrestleMania 42. You give him a nice, good feud for his first WrestleMania, and he's probably going to win, and that elevates him. That elevates the United States Championship, and then we start to get this feud cooking once again between him and Carmelo Hayes. All right, let's talk ladder matches because you have a new Intercontinental Champion in Penta, and so this is when things kind of got tricky. I initially had him off this card, but then I said, Mark, you're crazy. You got to put him on the card. And I think what WWE has been doing also is almost treating the Friday Night SmackDown before WrestleMania as like the WrestleMania pre-show, basically. So I know they put a few big matches on there as well, but this is going to be a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship that is going to happen at WrestleMania. So it's going to be between Penta, Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, Finn Balor, Royce Keys, and Dominic Mysterio. There is a chance that they do Finn versus Dom in a singles match, but again, it's just the way that these matches are shaping out. I think that they're probably going to both be in this match and then probably turn on each other then, and then you can build the feud from there. And then obviously I think Royce Keys is a great addition to this match because I'm going to assume he's going to be at WrestleMania. So I feel pretty good that he's going to be involved in this ladder match. And lastly, we've got Io Sky versus Asuka. This feels like a pretty good chance that this is going to happen. I, again, thought that she was going to defend the women's tag team titles against the Bellas, but we all know what happened with that. So I think she's going to get involved with Asuka. Maybe it's a triple threat with her, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. But I definitely feel good that she's going to take on Asuka, at least in some way, shape, or form. She's going to be involved unless they do like a multi-person match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So if that happens, then Io Sky would be a good candidate to be in that match, and she would be an awesome Intercontinental Champion. Maybe they do a ladder match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. That would be pretty sick, but I think either way, she's going to take on Asuka. I feel pretty good. Again, it's just how everything kind of shook out for this match card, because it's funny because you think you have an idea of how things are going to go until you jot everything down, and then you realize you're leaving people off that are probably going to be on. So then you come up with a bunch of different ones, and then you kind of just try to hammer down what's going to happen. But Io Sky versus Asuka, I feel pretty good is going to happen at WrestleMania 42. Let me know in the comments, what match do you feel most confident about is going to happen at WrestleMania 42? Make sure to subscribe, like this video, and click that bell button so you get notified every single time we upload a brand new video. With that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.